Okay guys, welcome to the channel. Uh, Today I'm just going to do a video on my very first gun that got everything started in my hunting. It's a it's a Harrington and Richardson 20 gauge single shot. It was called the Handy rifle, I believe. It also came with a 30-30 barrel. My brother bought this for me when I was 12, so somewhere around 1983 or 84. Was my favorite gun. I shot a lot of partridge with it, and deer. Yeah, so my very first deer I got with this when I was 15. My brother and my father were both at work, and opening morning I decided to stay home from school. And luckily, Mom was nice enough to let me play hooky. 7 o'clock in the morning, I found a track not far from my house, and I followed it. It wasn't really far, but it was circling around and around the woods where I'm very familiar with the woods. So after a while, I came out into a clear cut, and there was a survey line on the backside of the clear cut. And I thought, well, maybe that was hidden towards that line. So I walked up, snuck up through the cut, and when I got almost to the survey line, there was a squirrel that was really going crazy. And I was wondering, like, I wonder, does that see that deer? So I snuck out, and sure enough, about 40 yards down the line was a deer. So I put the shotgun up, and I fired, and he went right down right there. I was pretty excited. I was 15. It was my very first deer. First time by myself hunting. First time tracking as well. Uh, so I went and I cleaned him up. I came out to the house, and I told Mom. The funniest part is Mom had a family photo shoot booked for that afternoon. So she was all upset, worried that I wasn't going to be able to make it to the shoot. Anyway, I took my old three-wheeler at the time and the trailer, and I went back and I drug him out and got him into the trailer. I brought him home. It was very warm that day. I ended up taking him into the basement of the house, and to keep it from spoiling, I put ice in its chest, some bottles of ice. Uh, Later on that day, when my brother came home, he thought I was partridge hunting. So he asked me if I had any luck, and I said I shot the weirdest looking partridge I've ever seen. So he was all excited. He said, "Well, what is it? I'm going to go have a look." So I told him, I said, "It's down in the basement." So when he opened the door and he looked down, here was a nice, it was a 5-point buck, is what it was. Uh, he was all excited. He hadn't got a deer up to that point, and he was 11 years older than I am. And so when Dad came home, it was the same story about the strange bird that I shot. It was funny. It was a lot of good memories. Anyway, we managed to hang the deer up and get it looked after, and we made it to our photo shoot. We none of us had any problem smiling at the photo shoot. It was a lot of good memories. I've looked back on that a lot over the years, and that's a big part of why I hunt, is just to enjoy the memories. Right? That's all you got after when it's all over. But yeah, so I've had this shotgun ever since. And I don't use it much anymore, but my father took a couple of deer with it. I think I got 3 or 4 more over the years. And with the 30-30 barrel that goes on it, I've taken several with that as well, with a scope on it. This stock I made this stock for it out of it was actually an apple tree that my grandfather planted, my great grandfather planted, where my mother's cottage is, and now my cottage. But yeah, it's just a lot of memories, a lot of history with it, and a lot of stories behind it. Another one that I got was uh, going to my uncle's camp to get some vegetables and out of his garden, and Dad was with me, and we saw a nice doe, and I jumped off the three-wheeler again on the three-wheeler, and Dad said, "You know, you'll never see that. That's gone." I went running after it, and sure enough, I cut it off. Ended up getting my second deer with it. Yeah, it was a lot of good times. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. It's just a little short video about the gun that really started all my hunting. It was a gift from my brother, and it was a great gift. Anyway, if you like it, if you like the videos, give me a thumbs up, and maybe think about subscribing. I'm gonna do a few more every week, and different rifles and that, and we'll do some walks in the woods, and maybe even some fishing from here time to time. Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in. Damn flies.